Hey guys, Charles Osterlin here from Liquid Blue. We're right now on the beach of Cabarete, as you can see. We're going to be talking a little bit about windsurfing, which is pretty much a new sport, especially for here in Cabarete. And let's get to it. So basically, if you're familiar with the foil world, you're going to realize that this is a board with a foil, and in the back we have a wing that we're going to see in a little bit. Basically, when you're getting into this new sport, it's been evolving so much that things are changing on a month-to-month basis almost. What I've realized when you get into this sport, you first want to have a background in foiling, and then anything else, if you have surfing, kite surfing, windsurfing, stand-up paddleboarding experience, is definitely going to help you out. I decided to use a 90-liter board, which is actually a stand-up board. It's a 6'6", but it's 90 liters. And the liters is really what you want to look at. I weigh around 160 pounds on a good day. So a board that's around 90 liters and above is pretty manageable for me, especially with my stand-up paddleboarding background. Though ideally, what I've seen from people that are getting into the wing world, a board that is 100 to 125 liters is ideal. Another factor to consider is the length of the board. If you have a board that's too long, it's actually going to hamper your progression and making it a little bit more difficult. You want to find a board that is not too long, but has volume. So other than that, the next part of it, once you choose your board, is that you're going to want to pick a mast and a wing. For myself, I got started on a 65 centimeter mast, though with a little bit of time, I did realize that I would probably want to have a 75, 85, or even a 95 centimeter mast. Now, if you see here in the background, basically, in Cabarete and in this location, we have relatively flat water. If you are learning in a spot with a lot of chop, a longer mast is going to help you out. If you're riding on flat waters, a 65 plus will be very manageable. Now we're going to move to the next thing, which is the wing. So we're just gonna take this off right here. I'm using the F1 Gravity 1800, which is not the biggest wing in the lineup, but the second biggest wing. We have a 2200, and then we have the 1800, 1500, and 1200. But basically, I got this as a recommendation, and it's been working out ideally. It's very stable, and it's very nice to get that early planing and as well a good speed that's manageable without having the wing wanting to breach. So far, I do feel that I can go with a smaller wing and a longer mast, but this setup really works well for myself right now. One thing that I want to note, if we look down here, is the position of the track. So when I got into this, I was basically with the track all the way backwards. And I realized, since I didn't have a good balance because I wasn't windsurfing and I didn't really have myself orientated well, I was really struggling. So what I did is that I actually brought the wing all the way to the front, which makes it a little bit more challenging in a way, but I felt it was giving me a bit more stability. So as I've been progressing, I've actually been moving the whole wing and the whole setup a little bit backwards. You really have to mess around and test things out for yourself. If you're ever gonna get into windsurfing and you're practicing in a location that's by yourself, what's really important is first that you're comfortable working by yourself. Second, you wanna make sure that where the wind is pushing you, if the wind brings you downwind, you wanna know where you're gonna end up. So in this case, when I'm learning in Cabarete, I know that worst case scenario, I'm gonna end up at the beach. So that's one part of learning how to windsurf by yourself that has to be considered. Because this sport is amazing, though like any extreme sport, you really need to go in with caution. No matter how beginner or how advanced you might think you are, you really wanna always know what's going on and be safe. First point is, make sure that the spot you're gonna learn at, you're not gonna end up getting blown out to sea and struggling and getting lost. The second point is, I would recommend using a helmet as well as an impact vest if you wanted to. When you do get into the sport, you'll realize that you use 2 leashes. There are many different setups that people are using. Some people are using waist leashes, and then others are using the wrist and ankle leashes. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna pump up an F1 swing. This is a 5 meter. They come in different sizes. When I was thinking about my location, we usually have around 12 knots all the way up to 25. I got into winging during the late summer, and basically we're now getting these days where it's 12 knots up to around 20. For myself, the 5 meter on the stronger days definitely is a workout, but other than that, it's really ideal for my conditions. So you really want to look into that when you're choosing your wing. In the future, ideally you'd probably want to have 2 to 3 wings in your quiver, depending on your location and the range and what you're actually trying to do for yourself. So ideally, I believe that a 4.2, a 5, and a 6 meter is gonna be the ideal quiver for myself in Cabarete. There might be some days where I wish I'll have a 3, but I believe those will be a minority and not a majority. So in any case, let's get pumping this up. Just like when you're pumping a kite or anything on the beach, you wanna make sure that your equipment is gonna be downwind from you. Right now, the wind is coming from over here. I'm not gonna say direction because it won't make sense for you, but it's coming from over here. So I'm gonna wanna make sure that the wind is to my back when I'm gonna start pumping. So, whether you're familiar with kiteboarding or not, just like anything, you're gonna lay your wing out in front of you, well, downwind of you. You're gonna wanna spread it out, and you're gonna wanna open up your inflator. The nice thing is about wings and your pump is that it comes with a leash, so you can attach your wing to it so that it can't really fly away. Now that we have our equipment and everything set up, the nice thing about this sport is that we really don't need a harness. There is some wings that have a harness adapter, but for myself, the whole idea with this sport was really to sort of be free. Just like surfing or just like surf foiling, where you don't have much equipment and you can just go out, have fun, really easy. Before you go into the water, ideally, you're gonna wanna practice. Now, when you're deciding on which hand to put your leash on, it's really up to you. When we have the wing, we can see that in this position, it really doesn't do much. What we're gonna wanna get in the habit with which is a skill you're gonna use when you're in the water, is flipping your wing over. I can easily just flip my wing over like such. But in the water, that sometimes might be a little bit harder. So it's very good to get into a small habit of at least knowing how to do a proper turnover. What we're gonna be doing is that I'm gonna bring myself all the way to the edge, and then I'm gonna bring my hand right around. So I have one hand on the inside and then one hand on the outside, and I just simply flip it over. Then I make my way to the center. When we are practicing on the land, there's a few exercises we really want to nail down. And that is going from the handle into the wing. So how are we going to do that? Basically, depending on which way you're going, whether it's out at sea, into shore, or left or right, you want to come in with a strategy of how to most effectively gain control of your wing. In this case, if I was going out to my right, out at sea, I would have the wing in my left hand. Now, me going with my left hand inside is a little bit uncomfortable, because especially my front hand will be my right hand. So how are we gonna do this? Basically, what you're gonna wanna do is hold the wing with the hand that you're not gonna be using as your front hand. In this case, my left. So I'm gonna bring my left and my right connected here. And from this position, I can easily bring my way down to grab the power handles in the back. Now, the first thing you're gonna realize with your wing is that generally it's very light, sort of just flies in the wind by itself. So when we're practicing on the beach, we wanna gain control of the wing. I myself was never a windsurfer, so I didn't really have that feeling of how it is to control something with my two hands. So really, if you don't have a windsurfing background, this might feel like something new for you. In any case, with your front hand, it's basically a way of steering. And with your backhand, it's a way of controlling power. If I pull with my backhand, you can see that it engages the wing. So fun exercise, just walking, seeing how it feels, then switching your hands and going the other side. Hey guys, Charles Osterlin here from Liquid Blue. What we're gonna do is just a quick entry into the water. So what we're gonna want, we're gonna go to our wing. We're gonna hook ourselves up. And then grab your board. Depending if you have a handle on your board or not, you have to adjust. In this case, I don't have a handle, so this is how it's gonna go down. Once we're here in deep enough water, what I like to do is I get on my stomach, and I'm gonna do a knee version. So I'm on my knees here, learning the skills that we learned. Learning the skills that we learned while we were on land. We're gonna apply them here. So I'm gonna bring my wing over. I'm gonna get some power in it. Once I feel like I have enough power, I'm gonna go. Alright guys, so in our next video, we're gonna be learning all about the wing sport, but in the water. Catch you guys later. Charles in and out. Phew!